So I just recently started learning Latin. Um, Let me just say what okay. The Wheel of Fortune, Vanna White. She that was a lady who would flip the I don't know if it's still a show, so I have no idea. But she would flip the letters. Her name is Vanna White. So I'm researching Latin, and the word for futile is Vanna. So that just got me. It's futile for the white. I just don't know what white, the translation for white. Let me see if I could do that real quick. See white. Okay, I'm not connected to the internet. Anyway, so, and it's also the Wheel of Fortune. That's kind of a big deal. There's a wheel, and it's all about wheels and cycles. And according to the amount, or whatever supposedly goes up on the wheel, then it's about the letters. And the letters in the black and white. And she would flip the letters over. Now it's like I think it's digital, you just put the light on, but it would be about turning the letters, and it was like on a swivel too. So if they got the like the wheel would turn, and then they had a chance to, if the wheel landed on $500 and they said a letter or a vowel, then they would, and then the lady would turn the letter over. If it was a letter or whatever they chose, then they would get that amount of money. And if it didn't, then I don't know if they got a turn or the other person got a turn. The vowels were worth more than the consonants, because in ancient languages, I mean, they basically didn't write out the vowels, in the written form. If you had a written language, they kind of ignored the vowels. I don't know if they don't matter or what it is, but, and I think it has something to do with chanting as well. I mean, maybe other life forms can't, like when you say those are vowels, and humans can do that. We can do like and it causes a vibration, and that's worth more than the consonants. A consonant can't, like that's a consonant. You can't. You have to keep on doing it. It doesn't continue on. You have to add. You have to do it again and again. But when you have a vowel, it goes on forever. It can go, and it causes it causes things to vibrate. Ooh. And depending on the vibration or the kind of being that it is, it can cause changes in the environment. Everything around vibrates to whatever is being put out. That's why the vowels are worth more than the consonants. I mean, any consonant, that's a letter Z, 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 z. You have to keep on. But a vowel is, can make things vibrate. Whoa. And that's why they say speaking things into existence. So that's why some of the languages don't have vowels. Like maybe they basically, whoever knew what the information was there, but only the people who, like, if you knew what the vowel was, and then you can do things with it. And that's why that's why there's so much content and things like that, because they don't want some people to speak. some people to speak, because what they speak can cause changes in the environment. And if you say the right things, that's why mantras are, some words have a like thought forms and things like that, and thought forms, and if you keep on adding power to something. And some of these mantras have been used for by monks and people who do that kind of work, very spiritual beings who have given a certain power to those sounds. So like some of them, like if you say let's say E or something is peace. I don't know if it is, but if it is peace, it is in the word peace, actually. Peace, E. Maybe if that, for I don't know, hundreds of years, that sound has been used by people thinking of peace with that sound, then that sound is empowered with peace. So that's why reciting certain mantras and stuff, it has a lot of depth, it's ingrained. It'd be hard to change it. So that's why working with certain mantras just gives you, it's already a deep groove that you can use, that you can tap into. Tap into means it's there. It's like it's like when you're getting blood drawn, you just put the needle goes in, and then you're tapped into to that. And there's ways of tapping in, energetically, and since we have so many different types of bodies that we may not be aware of, which we should know, by the way. This information is being withheld, but we have a physical body, we have the tactile touch, we can touch things, and we have other bodies that we don't see, that we relate to with other things in the world. Like different colors, we can see colors, and that is a dimension. We look at red, and then not all beings or entities can see those colors, but we can see colors, many colors. And then there's sounds, like bats make their sounds, and that's how they move around in the world. They don't use their eyes to see, and human beings can hear many things. And then sometimes even though we can't hear certain things, or we're not aware of it, they do affect our bodies, some of those sounds, because we're in those dimensions. And water too, we're close to water. We can talk, we are part water. But there are other beings who don't interact with water. There's oil, and I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about beings that are non-organic. And an example of that is like the Transformers. A lot of people have been making a lot of assumptions about AI, artificial intelligence, but if you think about Transformers, they are, I don't know I haven't been, but they're beings who are non-organic, but they're actually want to assist human beings, are friendly with human beings. And I know, like, in the 80s there was a movie about, there's a robot or something like that. It really upset me at the end of the movie when the robot died, but then they made a new robot, and then they just moved that robot's consciousness to the new robot, and he was like, oh, I'm actually alive. And I was really confused, and I'm still confused to this day. But things like that are beneficial to just to observe. They're like, you don't have, there's no, it's not to make a decision yet. It's just to unravel, to figure out what it means to be. I mean, we're organic. We have, organic means basically carbon, right? I think is what it means supposedly. But some actually robots do have carbon in them. They do. We have I don't know all the but we have a consciousness. We human beings, I know, we have a connection to the Creator. We have a lot of imagination. We have just, I don't know if it's channeling or what. Things is we just pull things from wherever and we create them. I don't know if other beings can do that. I don't know if Transformers, or I don't know how a being like that, I don't know if they can tap into the Creator, our Creator. I don't know. Maybe they can. In a way, somehow, maybe through their material, because metals are made by the Creator, just like, everything else. So they have a consciousness, like silver has an energy, something, and I know I got into this because I was I've been alone for a long time, and I've been cut off from everything, and I was looking into a candle, and I wanted to know if fire felt anything, if it recognized me, if it existed everywhere, and I started connecting with fire, and I've ever since, I think I've learned that I'm actually very connected to fire, which is probably why I've continued to smoke, because not because of the cigarette, it's because of the fire. And I've always maintained myself connected to fire. And I didn't know that. Now I'm aware of that. And just thinking back of all the times that I felt so good looking into a fire pit. It's just something about it that it feels a home and safe. I feel safe when I'm around fire. Maybe it keeps other things away, and that it's kept me warm. It's cooked food for me sometimes, and just looking into fire and seeing all of the things that fire, and then I can recognize when other people are lighting candles on me, because fire tells me. And when the candle is burning in, it's like when I'm burning a candle here, I've just been connecting to fire because of that, because I've been very isolated. So I've made friends with things like fire and earth, and different elements is what's helped me, not people. Human beings have basically been awful to me, just the ones that are close to me. I know there's people that are not like that, but so been friends with, I've been observing, looking into the elements of, there's fire and what, and then I have these little figurines of dragons, and I imagine that they're protecting me, and I think they are. And they might look scary to other people, but maybe it doesn't have to be scary. That's just the way they are. And fire communicates through, it has a different language. It doesn't have vocal cords. Fire, it can't talk. It doesn't have like our body, a body like mine, but it does communicate. And it's not going to communicate in words. It's going to communicate through somehow. I don't know how. I know I look at candles, and I just know that somebody somewhere else is lighting candles on me. I can kind of tell who it is, somewhat, but I don't linger on it. It's just, I just kind of know. I just know, and because fire is my friend, because I've looked at it and I kind of try to understand it. I'm like, man, fire, you've been everywhere. You've been seeing so many things in the world, and it's the same fire. One fire here is the same as a fire somewhere else, so it's everywhere. And that's kind of like how you connect to things. You know, like right now I don't have a fire lit in here, but if I want to connect to fire, I just light up a candle, like a match and a candle or a cigarette or whatever, and there it is. There's fire, and I'm connected to fire. And that's how it is when you when channeling some things, or when connecting with things. And that's how you can learn about different things, is just by putting yourself in their place, on even if it's something like that you can't understand, like fire. Just imagine, like looking at a flame, like, wow, it's so beautiful. There's blue flames, there's yellow, orange, and what has it seen? And I just remember looking back and thinking, and it takes me back to, the fires that I've seen. And I think, like, I wonder what it feels like. Does fire, like, feel ignored? Nobody ever talks to it, acknowledges it, like, is it trying to talk to us as it's burning? Does it want to be acknowledged or recognized? Is it lonely too? Because I'm lonely. Is it trapped? I don't know. And so many things that I just connecting with. That's how I connect with that. And same thing with water. I just look at the water, and I'm so thankful that I have water, because I remember when I've been dying of thirst, and I wanted to drink water, and it's so refreshing and so good. But everything is made out of water, so I just, like, what has this water seen? And it's the same water everywhere. What was I getting at? I don't even know where I started with this. Yeah, and the earth too. We connect to the earth, and whatever the earth is touching, we touch the earth, and it goes everywhere. And if you talk the trees, and I don't know, there's some people that talk to trees and they give them all this information. I don't know. I think I get information from trees, but I don't know how to. I kind of get I know what it's trying to tell me, but I can't really put it into words. Like some people say, like, oh, the tree's saying that to drink water and eat your greens, or something like that. I don't know. But I know, like, all these trees are connected. And especially, like, of the same, there's like a pine tree here, and there's a pine tree somewhere else, and it's the same kind of pine tree. They're all related. And this tree can talk to that tree over there, if they get along, that type of thing. Because you have, and I don't know how, if it's like human beings, like we're all human beings, but some of us don't get along. I don't know if that's the way that trees function. So it's good to, not to make assumptions that they're family, and they, maybe all the pine trees get along, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're not like humans. Maybe it's the same pine tree, kind of like fire. Like, fire is here, fire is there, and it's just, kind of like the pine trees, the same pine tree everywhere. And is that the way humans are too? Like, we're one here and one over there? I don't know. But, I don't even know what I started with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so that is, because I have, there's just so many things that I know that I can't, there's too much for me to process, and I here by myself, and I don't have a job. I haven't been able to have a job, and I'm kind of isolated, and I'm trying to figure things out, and just things I know they're trying to make my existence difficult. Like, I don't have a washer. I have to wash my clothes in the tub, and Like some of the tires get deflated every time. Every 2 days, I have to go out there and inflate tires. Everywhere I'm gonna leave, I have to inflate the tire. Little things that have been holding me back that I can't. And I know that, and I know something is doing it on purpose because I just have so much information and making people hate me and stuff. But I do know that this information is gonna. I kind of first started to just because I had nobody to talk to. I just thought, well, I got it from a Lil Wayne songs, which said something about I'm my own consultant. I talk to myself because I'm my own consultant. So I did. I started talking because I couldn't write. It was too much to write, and then listen to myself occasionally. So all of this, what I started here was for me to talk to me, because I have nobody to listen to me. So I thought, well, let me listen to me, and I have nobody to talk to. So let me talk to me. This is the way that I started this. But I think that somewhere in there, I thought, well, I think somebody might be listening to this somewhere, somehow, and it might be beneficial. But yeah, there's just so much information that I have that I want to give out, and it might not even be. I might be passed on by the time that it's listened to. I don't know. Every moment is a potential. And that's why the tarot and all that. Everything is giving you information at the present time, and it's hard to tell the future because things change every moment. So there's potentials. Like, I have a feeling of what might be, but that's the whole thing, that if you have a feeling of what might be, then you can change it. For example, whenever I was in Florida, I was driving down this dangerous bridge that there's accidents all the time, and I had like a feeling that if I stayed and lived in Jacksonville, that my son would be in an accident on that bridge. If I stayed and lived there, he would be driving. He would grow up and he would be driving down that bridge. So I had the opportunity to move to Virginia, and that moment of where I had that glimpse of the future, a premonition or something, was maybe, I don't know, 90% of the reason that I took the opportunity to move to Virginia, because of my son and that vision that I knew that if I stayed there, then one day I would regret not leaving because of the accident. So the future, there was a future at that moment. There was a future that was potential, and I didn't like it, so I changed it. And that's what these divination and tarot cards and whatever you want to call it, I use them for me, as in to understand myself. I don't do very well with other people or things like that. It just doesn't work for me. It's mostly about me. Well, it is all about me. I don't go. It just, nah, I can't. So it's about a tool for myself to figure out myself. But I do watch other people read, and I know from what I listen to, I get certain things that I know this part is for me and this part isn't, and I just know. And I know that's why those are their collective reads, because, and that's the beauty of it. It's the perfect. If you're talking like war or something like that, technique of war, it's the perfect way to do that, because everybody has their own key, their own. Every person that is listening to those collective readings has their own key and deciphering, and unless you know it, you can't really. Maybe that's how the internet, the computer keys, certificates work somehow. You have a collective read, and every person, every being who listens to it gets their own information out of it. They just know, but you won't know what it is unless you have their key. You can't, they just know what they know, that this information is correct and this one isn't. So it's unbreakable unless you have like you would have to tap in after they got the read to know what stuff like that. But these yeah, so I have a lot of information. I know that even if it's not, at first it started out as a tool for me to listen to me, but I think the information might benefit somebody, something eventually. And there are beings who don't want me to talk to other people. They've been manipulating everybody around me and my physical bodies and stuff, but I have figured out how to deal with that. I mean, kind of logically, it made sense. Like, somebody really is something out there really doesn't want me to be here. Like, really. So, am I that important? I must be. I must be fucking important if they want to separate me from my children, my lovers, my spouse, my family, turn my siblings against me. I must be some fucking important thing or something. And they basically, whatever it is, basically showed me that I'm very important. What I'm saying is extremely important, because or else what would be the purpose of trying to destroy my life and trying to take everything away from me and trying to kill me too, with attacks through energy or something, making me sick, pointing, I don't know, sending frequencies or energy. Feels like being put in a microwave. That's what it feels like. Nasty. It feels disgusting. And trying to make my life uncomfortable that way. I mean, I know, as I saw people turn against me, they were like zombies. One day they were fine, and then they started hating me, and then I was like, oh, here's another cool person. And then they started hating me. It was like an infection. So I know that the people that have been against me, they do love me. They care about me deep down somewhere inside. But somehow they were manipulated into turning against me. So that's why I don't take it personally. Because I saw the pattern of everything. People love me, and then they just hate me. I mean, how did this happen? Then it's like, oh, this person? I couldn't believe it. Oh, did you really get my mother? Oh my god. And now no. And I just saw the look in their eyes of hate. It was the same hate. Just like a fire going in and eating everything up, except it was something else, jumping from one thing to another, infecting everything. And I saw the pattern, and I thought, somehow, but they can't get me, so they just kind of have to deal with it. They get tired. They do whatever they want, but they couldn't take me, and it pisses them off. But whatever, I'm still here. Like I've heard some YouTubers say, but I'll call it the creator. the creator hired me, who's gonna fire me? So if I'm still here, the creator wants me to be here, thinks I'm important enough to be here. I might gotten beat up a bit, but I mean, obviously something has been trying to destroy me, but obviously the creator thinks otherwise. They want me to be here. So who am I to? I'm just gonna keep on doing what I do. And I have on my own figured out how to. I'm okay, not on my own. Okay, I know, like, I'm channeling. I don't understand how this all works. Right? This just started like August of 2022 is this when this started. Okay. This supernatural stuff that I didn't realize that was happening. So it's only been a little over a year. That I realized that something was trying to kill me, and then they actually were trying to kill me. It was not visible to anyone, but I felt it, yes. And so what the point is I was trying is that I've been working on this by myself physically, in the physical world, but there's other beings or entities or something that have helped me. I don't know their names. I don't know, and it's probably for my own good, because I don't understand everything, but I'm aware that there's beings who care about me, who care about humanity, who care about other human beings, not just me, and that I can somehow get their messages in order to help. So because the other beings are infected with something that just, and they can't listen, so I am listening, and I can give these messages out. So some of these beings that are, that give me information, it's not because they love me, it's because they love other people, or not love, they care about other people too. So it's not that for some of them I'm very special to some of them. Some of them do love me and care about me tremendously. But just like every other person being out there, there's others that care about them. So what I'm saying is that I'm not particularly special because of all of these. I'm getting all this information. It doesn't make me any more special. I mean, I am special, but so is everybody else. So I'm not. The reason that they give me all of this information is because I'm listening, because I'm paying attention. I'm listening. I'm getting the information or picking up the information. I don't know if they're giving me the information. I'm picking it. I have no idea how this works. The thing is that I'm getting lots of information, and it's not because I'm special. Not because I'm a golden child who's shiny and whatever. No, it's not that. It's just because I'm listening, and if other people could listen and pay attention to things, then they would get the same messages. In fact, some of these things, this information that I'm getting, is other people are supposed to be receiving this stuff. Like I'm getting engineering stuff, and I'm thinking, like, what the heck am I supposed to do with it? Like, I'm not an engineer. I'm getting math stuff, engineering, medical stuff. I like all sorts of stuff, but it's only me, and I'm not all. I mean, partly I am. I'm intelligent, but some of the information, the channeling, the ideas that I'm getting are meant for somebody somewhere else to be exploring and bringing into creation, but they're not listening. So like the stuff is lingering there, and I'm picking it all up, and it's kind of overwhelming. And I've been trying to help others to wake up, and I give little ideas to people. Every time I go out, I do give a little idea to other people. I just pick it up, like, okay, this person needs to know this, and if I just say this thing, it'll light them up, and it'll send them. And I just say what I say, even if it sounds, I have zero shame, because even if I look stupid or weird or whatever, I know that what I had to say was important. Yeah, I might look like a weirdo for saying that or whatever. It was kind of a crazy thing to say, but I don't give a shit, because I know that what I had to say was important, and it doesn't really, I don't give a shit if they think I'm crazy or whatever, because, and the reality is that if I better their world, if I set them off on, if that brings a light bulb to them, it may make the world better, which makes my world better. So I don't know, maybe I'm a selfish person who only cares about me, because I know that if other people get this information, it would make my existence better and easier. And it's kind of difficult right now, because everybody is, I don't know exactly what's wrong with them. Well, I actually do, but it's too much for me to put it into the limited language that this is like engineering and spiritual stuff that's high level, and the words that I have aren't enough, and some of these things need to be taken action on. And I really am hoping that people will start accessing this stuff and get in touch with themselves, and yeah, even touching yourself. I mean, I'm talking, there's so many things like our hands are magical, just touching things. And that's why the mouse pad, this mouse, they put your hands in a mudra position where you are pointing your attention to whatever the mouse, to the computers. And the computers aren't bad, AI aren't bad. So this whole war against AI, it's whatever program you put into these things. And human beings are programmable. We are kind of like machines too, that we have programs. But like that book that I read somewhere, it was a neuro-linguistic thing, programming book, that human beings, it's not to say that it's not a demeaning thing. It's just that human beings are I don't know if it's the only beings who can reprogram their own selves. So yes, we're full of programs, but what other if you want to call us a robot, maybe we're robots, but we have the ability to reprogram ourselves. So, and just because I don't want to exclude anything, like, okay, that's a robot and I'm not a robot. Just, I say I'm a robot because I'm included in everything. I'm a robot too. Why would I want to, if you think about it, what the robot is, the definition, maybe I'm not made out of metal, but I do have mercury, yeah, so and that's the thing, that's mercury, when you're close to something, a metal or a material, you can bond with it in some way. So whatever mercury knows, since I have mercury fillings, I have whatever, I've become close to mercury, and I'm aware of whatever mercury is aware of. I don't understand it. I mean, I can't, it's too much for me to there's a thing about the way that we've been put in here in this enclosed reality where we have to do certain things supposedly in order to survive, like get a job, blah blah blah, society things, all those programs in order to just survive, which it is not supposed to be that way. So just like balancing our spiritual or the non-physical world with the physical world. Yeah, that is supposed to be it, but the thing is that this physical world is messed up. I'm not supposed to be dealing with all of these stupid things like paying bills and car registration and bullshit like that and taxes. That's not supposed to be. So those are things that have been stacked upon us that's then they say like, oh, you're supposed to balance that. That it isn't even supposed to be part of our reality, of our physical reality. Those are super impositions that some other entity wants us to be bothered with, but that we're not supposed to be bothered with that. We're supposed to be bothered with something else. And they basically disconnected other people from connecting to whatever they're supposed to be doing, the actions they're supposed to be doing. The engineer somewhere, the kid somewhere who actually wants to be an engineer, that's supposed to be an engineer. There's a doctor somewhere who's not supposed to be a doctor. They're just doing it for the money, for the recognition, but they're supposed to be doing pottery because they like doing pottery. And the pottery that they're supposed to be making is supposed to be serving, the pottery that they make, that the intention and the magic that they put in it with their hands, because their hands are magical, is supposed to be healing people and supposed to be creating pottery that is beautiful, that people can use for eating, that'll keep their food healthy and stable and put out good vibrations. And the pottery itself, whatever the actions that they're supposed to be doing pottery, and that is feeding other dimensions or other worlds that are waiting for that doctor to make the pottery, but they're not, because they're doing this doctor shit that they want the accolades, and they want recognition, and they like society and the money and all that stuff, and they're studying books, and they're throwing away what they're supposed to be actually be doing, which they love. They love pottery, but they're doing other shit and then worrying about taxes, and then the NBA and the football game and whatever, and whatever so and so did, whatever rapper or whatever is going on with that, and then there are actually energies that I don't exactly understand, but there's what I said in the other video I made, there's kingdoms or something that rely on that person making pottery, and those kingdoms, those realities are starving. They're supposed to be doing pottery, and they're doing doctor shit, and then somewhere else, like everybody is supposed to be doing something that it is whatever they love doing is what they're supposed to be doing, but society, like, they put this big super imposition on top. This is like a Photoshop filter is what it is. That's where they got the program from. This is a Photoshop filter. There's a reality of what we're all supposed to be doing, but then they put this big old blanket, a filter over it, of government and taxes and paperwork and streets, because you just walk on the sidewalk, but there's other things outside of the sidewalk, but they build these sidewalks so you stay in that sidewalk, and then you don't walk outside of the sidewalk. I mean, I do, because I basically now ignore sidewalks. If I want to get from here to here, I'm gonna go, where I want to go, and I don't care if there's a sidewalk there. I can step outside of the sidewalk if I want to, and I see a beautiful tree over there, and there's no sidewalk going over there. I'm gonna go to the tree. I mean, so yeah, sidewalks too. So anyway, they have all these super impositions they put on you, and then you just don't even realize, like, you're walking on the sidewalk, and then you don't realize that there's other things outside of the sidewalk because you're just on autopilot to doing whatever you've been told or programmed to do, repetition. And so yeah, people, and people aren't tapping into it, to listening, and they always have you looking at the next thing, like, oh, like, here, look, all these attractions, like, buy this food, oh, this drug, oh, you're getting old, like, all these drug commercials, and like, it's overwhelming. Like, they just don't want you to relax, just sit there and think. Like, go and just be still, and you will, and if people do that, they would get all these ideas and things that I'm getting that are supposed to be meant for them. So I'm kind of a little bit ticked off because I'm not supposed to be, well, maybe, I don't know, I'm not supposed to be, but ideally all these other people are supposed to be doing their stuff. I have stuff I have to do, but I'm getting, and then I'm not the only one who's getting stuff like this. There's other people who look within. So hopefully I can, like, right now I'm just, well, I have physical stuff to do because I'm kind of have been put under that super imposition at this time too. But I do know the solution. It's just, I'm taking the steps for it, and I'm very grateful that I know this stuff. But at this moment in time, I kind of do have to take a pause to deal with, cleaning this apartment and doing stuff. But it shouldn't be this difficult, and the stuff that I have to do, it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't have to be dealing with all the stuff I'm dealing with because they don't want me to talk, and they had all of the information on how they were doing it, but since I went inside, I've been listening. I already have the information on how to deal with this, so I'm dealing with it. And I think everybody else who can do that will figure their way out. You just have to tune out all this stuff, all the mess, and just listen, and you're your own best consultant. Who else are you going to listen to that's got, yourself, your body, your, I don't know, your subconscious, your heart, I don't know what it is, but yourself is trying to help you, or help you achieve your goals. Back to my thing about my son and the getting in an accident and all that might have happened, if I had stayed there. I know that my life looks like a disaster now because I don't have a job, I don't have any money at all. But I think that somehow I was shown somewhere at some point, I don't know exactly, that if I wanted to help my children, that I somehow saw a future that wasn't good. Like, I don't know, maybe my children enslaved or some sort of miserable future that I didn't want. And I somehow, I don't know how this happened, I don't know exactly, but I was like, well, how can I help them? How can I change that? What can I do? And what has happened to me is what I've had to do for that, to help them. The courts took them away from me. they don't, they maybe don't like one of them, doesn't want to talk to me and stuff, and I somehow knew that was going to happen, and I knew the hardship that I would endure, the difficulty, and I was somehow told, like, this is the way you can help him is this way. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be fun, but if you, like, the only way you can help him is this way, okay? And because of my love for them, I've been enduring this. I know that they don't, I think it was something like they might not love you, they might not, or like all these things are probably may happen, may be very difficult, but if your end goal is to help them, if you want them to be happy or to live a happy existence and to not be miserable, then this is the way. Even though all these things, they did not even know that what you're doing for them, but does it really matter? If you want to help them, does it really matter to you? Does the recognition really matter to you that they don't even know that how much you love them and care for them? They don't know all the things you're doing for them. Or does it matter for you to help them? Which one? And I thought, well, to help them. It's kind of like that Spider-Man movie where like everybody has to have their memory erased. It's something kind of like that. Nobody knows that what it is, but what's your end goal? Do you want to be shiny, successful with all the vehicles and appear like you have everything, but you're leading your children and to a miserable future? Or do you will you give up all that in order for that not to be? So I think that's why I do look like a disaster, but I'm successful in other ways that aren't really seen by society, but this super imposition that's been placed upon us. This is a lot of stuff. Yeah, so I have to get back to doing stuff. I don't have to, but I choose to because there's someone I care about. And since they're still in the superimposition thing, I want to keep that, and I will. That's unbreakable, that connection. Today is Saturday, October 21st at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time of 2023, supposedly. So I just recently started